What on earth can we mean when we're talking about the body and the business of language? Isn't language just merely a verbal way to arrange and pass our mental concepts and information packets, much in the same way that computers just connect across networks, right? Well, interestingly, this exact view describes the understanding of language that had dominated the cognitive sciences for just ages. But it's one that has been very much reshaped, particularly in the past decade or so, by very much through a new field called cognitive linguistics. Researchers such as Lakoff and Johnson propose a whole new organic view they see as a second generation approach to all of this. And nonetheless, language is still an inherently embodied act, and that's the proposal, that all of our language is rooted in the body, and it's all well-established fact these days in those fields of cognitive science. Now, equally, studies show that restricting the body restricts our verbal and conceptual fluency. We become less capable, both verbally, language, and in thinking processes. The eco-philosopher David Abrams writes about the very origins of our world emerging from the sounds of the experienced world itself in a very embodied way. And we can get this if you think about how we use terms like a babbling brook, and it really describes what it's doing on a feeling level, right? Or a wide open plain, right? There's something at the feeling level of what that is. Language is an inextricably embodied act, and that's a fact that all actors know only too well. And if they don't, say, align their body and their voice and their words, then their performance is just totally unconvincing. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to guide you through a very short practice so you can just feel for yourself how the body shapes language and language shapes the body. And that can then help change the way you coach and lead and just relate. So perhaps maybe we just invite into saying a word and just feeling that word, feel the sensory qualities of it, like heavy or light, right? How do they feel? Say them. Make sure you're saying them. They're coming out your own mouth. Sharp or maybe dull, right? Just notice what happens in your body as you say these slowly, more than once. Sharp, dull. So then you might want to contrast that with a more abstract word like concept or data. Does your body respond to those kind of words? Certainly the words that are more practical in my life have a more bodily felt sensation to them than the ones that are abstract. So maybe just picking some words that we were saying and just saying those, let them run over your tongue like babbling brook, or the whispering winds, wide open plains of the Great West. Just say them slowly. Feel the shape in your mouth, the way the breath moves with them. So just feeling all of the language. Maybe sensing the felt quality that comes with all of this. So then another little exercise, and this does come from the field of acting, and it's one that we bring elements of this into our embodiment in coaching workshop because it helps to bridge these fields in very, very interesting and curious ways. And one way it is that we can think about these in oppositional types. So this also comes from the work of Rudolf Laban, who is a very famous voice in the field of movement studies and embodiment. And one way I would get people to do this might be actually inviting emotions. What we do is we just reflect and repeat the emotional sound, and it's as though you're inviting the body to take the shape of that. It's very much an actor's exercise, this one. And you don't want to be doing it while you're sitting in a subway train or something. But let's say, for example, you can do any kind of opposition or qualities, but we might do sadness. Sadness, sad. When you invite sad, what does that language do to your body? I don't know about you, but when I reflect on that and I bring sadness, I feel myself coming down. I feel a sort of quietening down happening. My gaze is wanting to go down. My body's wanting to just fall slightly forward and just be in this position that just reflects the tone, the feel of that word to me. And then the oppositional one, let's use joy. Okay, sadness and joy. And you can even see my eyes are doing that. I went sadness and joy. So there's something of the embodied quality that's tracking this whole word and the whole concept and meaning package that it brings with it. So what happens with joy? I can feel an expanding just as I feel into that. And I'm not trying to just use words to change the way I feel. I don't think that's a very helpful tool, really, just to think I can use a word and just think positively. If you want to do that, then you go for it. It's not what I teach. But joy, see if there's a joyful expression that I can invite into the posture, into my embodiment. And I can just feel a straightening and almost an opening up that way. So from down with the sad to up with the joy. So perhaps the work now is just to reflect on that, to see what the language is doing to you as it's unfolding, coming from you, and you're receiving the language throughout your day.